Whenever you're ready.
All right. Hey, gentlemen, how you guys doing today?
Well, Paul.
Good. How are you? Hello.
Yeah.
Great. Ansel, I wanted to start with you, and I know you've probably gotten this question 1,000 times already today, but it's one of the most fascinating and integral parts of the show, which is you learning the Japanese language and being immersed in that culture. Can you talk a little bit about what that process has been like?
Yeah, it was really cool for me. It was my second time, my second language. So it was first time learning a foreign language, and working with Michael Mann. He really demands a lot out of you. Yeah. So at first I was just learning the lines phonetically, but then I also realized if I just learn them phonetically, I'm not going to have as much freedom as I'd like to have as an actor. And also we realized I should be speaking as much Japanese as possible so that this feels authentic. So I started taking Japanese classes 4 hours a day. Also, we were living in Japan. So anytime I had the opportunity to speak Japanese, I was speaking Japanese to anyone possible, and tried not to, make foreign friends there, but rather, just be friends with people who hardly speak English. So that way just continue to immerse myself. And yeah, I think that was an important part of making this character feel authentic.
Awesome. JT, I want to shift over to you. So you're coming from a playwright background. You adapted Oslo for HBO. How did Tokyo Vice come to you, and why do you feel like this was a project worth pursuing?
Well, it came to me because Jake Adelstein, the real Jake Adelstein, not the Ansel J.T. collaboration, Jake Adelstein, is along for the memoir that inspired the book, our series. He's been my friend since childhood, since we met in Driver's Ed in Central Missouri. And a number of years ago, when he was, I got pulled into the story because when his nearest and dearest were being threatened by Japanese mobsters on the phone to get at Jake, I was one of the people they came to. And, you're always looking for a story, and a story about gangsters, about loyalty, about struggling to find the truth as a journalist, about what does it mean to be a detective, but coming at it from late 90s Tokyo, from a sort of grounded, authentic position, that seemed to me to be just big enough to be insanely impossible to do. So you're drawn to it. And also, if we could pull it off, we could make something that hadn't been seen before.
So you guys both mentioned working with, or Ansel, you mentioned working with Michael Mann. Could you talk to me about what he brings to this? Because having his name shines a light on this project. You think about Miami Vice. This is a very different kind of project in terms of that. So what does Michael Mann bring to each of you in terms of this project?
For me, Michael's sort of the crucial pole position as director, because, when you're setting up a series, that first episode is all important in setting the visual template for the world of the show. And so, having Michael sign on to come in and do that was tremendous, because he's justly lionized for all the reasons that you're mentioning. So that, he sort of building the visual infrastructure for the show, which we could then build on and continue on after he went on after shooting the pilot, was tremendous. It was great to have him, for sure.
And for you?
He's as a director, he wants everything to be so rooted in reality. It's sometimes it's almost comical working with him, how obsessive he is over all the little details and making sure that everything is real and everything is authentic feeling. Yeah. He has this giant stack of notes with him. He's tape recording what everyone's saying. He said to me, "You got to write it down immediately. You got a tape recorder, otherwise you'll never remember exactly the way someone says something." And he really, in a place like Japan where you get a lot of no's and there are a lot of rules that kind of have to be followed and a lot of boundaries that you can't cross. Like JT, you've been saying that a lot of productions aren't allowed to shoot in ways that we were allowed to shoot. I'm sure a lot of people, like, JT, you said as well, you were just kind of, without knowing, just saying, wait, why can't we do that? But Michael also is the kind of guy who doesn't take no for an answer. Yeah. So he was just like, what do you mean? What do you mean we can't do that? Like, of course we can, kind of attitude, which was very helpful for, making the show as authentic as possible and shooting in the best locations and having the best actors and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Guys, that's all the time we have. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Really loving the show so far. I can't wait to see where it goes. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
yes.